Oh, this is going to be a video about me ranking, sort of like a ranking video of like the Mughal emperors. This is going to be a video about me ranking the Mughal emperors. I'm going to like, now start off with like the Mughal emperors. I want to kind of create like this type of hierarchy, like a type of hierarchy of all of the Mughal emperors. And there was like quite a lot of Mughal emperors and stuff like that. I want to really kind of focus in on like the six like most important Mughal emperors. Like the most important ones were Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb. Okay, so like if we want to like create like a pyramid scheme, like a hierarchy of these 6 important Mughal emperors, who am I going to start with at the bottom? At the bottom, I'm going to have to place, in terms of like this, like a top 10 list. At the bottom would be like so I'm ranking the Mughal emperors. At the bottom would have to be Humayun. Let me double check. Yeah, I guarantee. Yeah, he has to be the one that died. Humayun, by like he accidentally he fell down the stairs. He fell down the stairs. That's how he died for sure. I know that for sure. Yeah, falling down the staircase of his library. So Humayun, like out of all the Mughal emperors, Humayun is probably the most pathetic, fucking atrocious emperor to have ever like tried to control India and that type of territory. Humayun, he basically, the way he died was like he had like a library, some type of complex, apartment building, whatever. There was a bunch of stairs. And he was like, he was trying to, like, I don't know, go up and down or something similar, and he just kind of slipped, and I don't know if he broke his skull or cracked his head on the floor, and he probably was drinking alcohol. Humayun, probably one of the worst, like a Mughal emperor's worst ones, didn't do anything for the empire. He fell down the stairs, he cracked his skull, and he fragmented stuff, and everything just went badly for him. And Humayun's probably at the bottom of like this type of hierarchy tier list. I would have to place Humayun at the absolute bottom. I'll give Humayun like a 1 out of 10. Yeah, a 1 out of 10 for being like super shitty, a D or something similar, like a bad F, maybe an F failure, because he was a failure. Humayun, out of all of the Mughal emperors, Humayun, I give him an F or a 1 out of 10. At the bottom of the list. I'm at the bottom of like this type of hierarchy. I don't know, at the absolute bottom, Humayun, horrible guy. Absolutely horrible Mughal emperor. Failed, he was like a failure for that entire civilization, society, whatever, in the Mughal empire. He was like a failure because he died in such a pathetic way. He fell down the stairs inside in some type of library complex, whatever. That's so stupid. So Humayun's at the bottom. Okay, who would be coming up next? I'm gonna have to place now, maybe Jahangir. Yeah, Jahangir. Yeah, he was like, I don't know. He was like okay. He's not at the absolute bottom. He's not like a D, not a D, an F tier or a 1 out of 10. He's all right. Jahangir, the 4th Mughal emperor, who ruled from 1605 until his death in 1627, surviving son of Akbar and his chief princess. Yeah. Jahangir is like, he's not that bad. I don't know. He didn't really do anything that too interesting. He was like kind of just like a statesperson. He was kind of like alright. I don't know. He wasn't that bad. He was like kind of like an alright guy. I know how reading Wikipedia, making this video, how stupid. He was kind of like whatever. He did a bunch of like political things, and he was like alright. He's not at the absolute bottom. He's not like Humayun would have to be at the absolute bottom. Jahangir is sort of like a little bit above Humayun. He's like in the middle. I mean, he didn't do anything spectacular. He's kind of like average overall. Yeah, he was kind of like, yeah, he was like kind of addicted to like opium and like wine and etc. And he had like these types of issues. He was like, he would be like, he's not at the absolute bottom. Humayun would have to be at the absolute bottom of this type of hierarchy tier list. Humayun's at the absolute bottom. Jahangir is like a little bit above Humayun, just a little bit. I don't know, just a tiny bit, a little tiny bit above Humayun. Humayun. And you know, like, okay, so Jahangir, he's a little bit above Humayun. He's a little bit above Humayun. Jahangir's a little bit above Humayun. Not at the absolute bottom, but he didn't do anything spectacular. He was like a statesperson. He was like kind of like, he was like controlling the Mughal Empire. He did like interacting with like the Safavids. He was doing like important diplomatic things, but he wasn't like super interesting. He didn't leave any interesting things behind. Jahangir's gotta be alright, and like he's not in terms of like, if this is like a tier list hierarchy, Humayun's at the bottom. Jahangir's like a little bit above Humayun, like a D. Humayun's an F or 1 out of 10, and Jahangir's like a 2 out of 10 or a D. Okay, other than them two, who else? Now, other than like Humayun and like Jahangir, you got like Akbar. And again, I'm only going to be talking about like the 6 most important like Mughal emperors. So now we're going to be talking about Akbar. I know, it's so dumb, me like making this video, going on Wikipedia to do research, so fucking stupid. But I don't know, Akbar, because I don't want to like waste hours like researching for a video, because I'm not even going to be able to make that video practically then, in terms of like very practically. Yeah, anyway, Akbar, 3rd Mughal emperor who reigned from 1556 to 1605. Akbar succeeded his father Humayun under a regent. Oh, and you know, this guy Akbar was like super okay. Yep. He enlarged the Mughal Empire to include much of the Indian subcontinent. Okay, so Akbar is like, I would say that he's like probably B tier for sure, or he's like a 7 out of not 7, but a 7 out of 10. He's like, Akbar is so important for the Mughal Empire. He expanded the Mughal Empire to include all of the Indian subcontinent. He was a very important political person. He did all these things, and he was like kind of like, yeah, he was like, all right. Yep, stable economy. Yep, he did Akbar's reign in the course of India. Yep, Akbar. Actually, what am I saying? Maybe I'm not. Akbar's probably going to be at the top of this type of hierarchy. Akbar's like an A++++, a 10 out of 10. Akbar fucking nailed it. He fucking improved the Mughal Empire, expanded the realm, tripled like the GDP and money and wealth. He did all these important things. Akbar will have to be at the top, absolute top of this list. A+++++. Akbar is like a 10 out of 10. And okay, Akbar, yep, he had Sanskrit literature, so he was integrating into Indian society. Emperor Akbar the Great, he was integrating into Indian society. He expanded the realm dramatically, included all of the Indian subcontinent. GDP was like through the roof. Everything about what he did was amazing, spectacular. Powerful military system, and instituted effective political and social reforms by abolishing the sectarian attack on non-Muslims. Sanskrit literature translated, participated in native festivals, releasing that a stable empire dependent on the cooperation goodwill of subjects. Foundation for a multicultural empire under Mughal were laid during his reign. Akbar was succeeded as emperor by his son Prince Salim, later known as Jahangir. Anyway, Akbar, yeah, I'll give him like a 10 out of 10, A++. He was like better integrating the Mughal Empire into Indian society. He was like being multicultural. He was appreciating. He was like translating Sanskrit literature. He was like probably one of the best types of like people to rule the Indian subcontinent in terms of like the Mughals and the Mughal Empire. Akbar, yeah, at the top of this list. I'm telling you, Akbar. If you're like an Indian guy or Indian person, you feel like a little bit iffy about the Mughal Empire because there are Central Asians coming into India and messing things up. If you feel a little bit iffy about like the Mughal Empire, at least you know like you can like kind of rest assured that Akbar, he was appreciating Indian civilization. He was translating Sanskrit literature and stuff, and he was like doing all these important things for India, and he was like kind of creating like a multicultural society, and he was actually appreciating Indian culture. He was kind of sort of like a patron of the arts, and he was like all these types of things, and he was like kind of like, again, he did expand, like he was like kind of like engaging a lot of political conflicts with the native Indian people, and he was like kind of trying to expand the Mughal Empire, but he did integrate into the Indian culture and civilization. He was like appreciating the Indian culture and stuff, and translating Sanskrit literature and stuff, and he was like kind of like an alright guy. I don't know. In my opinion, A++, 10 out of 10. Akbar, out of all this, I'm only talking about like the 6 most important like Mughal emperors. Out of all the 6 most important Mughal emperors, so far I only discussed 3. I discussed Humayun, who's at the absolute bottom, F or 1 out of 10, and then I discussed Jahangir, a little bit above Humayun, like he'll be like a D or a 2 out of 10, and now Akbar, A++++, 10 out of 10. Akbar is like amazing, expanded the Mughal realm. He was actually appreciating Indian culture. He was like creating like this type of multicultural society, and he was like a patron of the arts. I'll give like Akbar like a 10 out of 10, A++, because he expanded the Mughal realm. He was becoming multicultural, and he was translating Sanskrit literature, and he was like kind of like an alright ruler. Okay, other than Akbar, now let's get to now. Other than Akbar, so far I discussed Humayun. Out of the six Mughal emperors, I discussed Humayun, who's at the absolute bottom. Then I discussed Jahangir, who's like a little bit above Humayun, but still like kind of at the bottom. And then Akbar. Akbar is like so amazing. Akbar is like an A++, 10 out of 10. Expanded the Mughal realm, and he did so many different types of things for the Mughal Empire, and he was a patron of the arts, and he translated Sanskrit literature, and he really tripled the GDP and wealth of India, of the Mughal Empire, which was like India at the time. So Akbar's probably at the top of this list. Okay, other than like Humayun, Jahangir, and Akbar, who's next? Aurangzeb. This is like so controversial. Aurangzeb. Let me double check. Aurangzeb. Muhammad Muhi al-Din Muhammad, common Aurangzeb, by his regional Alamgir, sixth emperor of the Mughal ruling, blah blah blah. Aurangzeb, he was probably like, yeah, Aurangzeb was probably okay, belonging to the Timurid, or early was occupied with pious Shah Jahan. Which greatest extent with their return spanning nearly the entire economy. Aurangzeb was just like Akbar. He really did expand the Mughal Empire and realm, and he was like kind of improving the GDP and the wealth and all those types of things. So I would say Aurangzeb's probably, he is generally considered by Islamic historians to be one of the greatest emperors of the Mughals. While there is considerable admiration for Aurangzeb in the community, he has been criticized for his Islamization of the region, introducing of the jizya tax. So Aurangzeb wasn't as like fucking tolerant as Akbar. Aurangzeb, he wasn't as tolerant, he wasn't like as multicultural. But in terms of like expanding the Mughal realm, adding more wealth to the GDP and all that type of stuff, he was like kind of like an alright guy. He was like very he wasn't like a patron of the arts like what's his name, fucking Akbar. He wasn't like as multicultural and like a patron of the arts, but Aurangzeb was kind of like a fucking alright guy. He tripled, like he improved, like he expanded the Mughal realm, and it included all these types of multicultural. He wasn't like as multicultural, but he did add wealth and stuff and tripled the GDP. So yeah, and a lot of people, Islamic historians, greatest emperors of the Mughal, I don't know. He was like kind of alright. He did kind of contribute to the Mughal realm, expand it and add GDP and all that type of stuff and wealth to the Mughal realm. I'm still, Akbar's like an A++, 10 out of 10. What about Aurangzeb? Would he be like a 10 out of 10, A++? I'll say that he's like a B. He didn't do anything too interesting. What did he do? He just expanded the Mughal realm, which is kind of alright, but Akbar already did that and stuff. So Aurangzeb, I'm gonna give him like a 8 out of 10, or a B. Aurangzeb. So let's see, this type of hierarchy. Humayun's at the absolute bottom. Jahangir is a little bit above Humayun, and then Akbar's all the way up here. And now, and then like, what about Aurangzeb? Aurangzeb's like a little bit under Akbar. Not that bad. Aurangzeb would be like a 7 out of 10 or a B. Okay, moving on from Aurangzeb, because he did all the political things. He did triple the Mughal Empire's GDP and wealth, and expanded the Mughal realm and all those types of things. But well, what interesting things did he do? Not really that much. He didn't leave any interesting architecture behind or anything like that. I mean, he did in terms of like politics. He did like make the Mughal Empire stronger. The Mughal armies were getting stronger and all that type of stuff. He was like very important politically speaking. But I mean, I don't know. Aurangzeb. So again, Humayun's at the bottom, and then you have like Jahangir, which is like a little bit above Humayun, and then Akbar's all the way at the top, and then now Aurangzeb's like a little bit under Akbar, like 7 out of 10 or like a B. Now, okay. Now, what about, other than Aurangzeb, now we have like the last, so far the 6, because I'm only going to discuss the 6 most important Mughal emperors. So far I discussed Humayun was at the bottom, Jahangir was a little bit above Humayun, and then I discussed Akbar was like all the way up here, and now I'm discussing Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb's like kind of like a little bit under, Akbar. Now I'm going to discuss, other than that, now I'm going to discuss like, now so far, Babur, which means tiger in Persian, whatever, Babur, or what was his actual name? I don't know, how fucking dumb is it? I'm filming this video and I have to do research. Babur, so stupid. Imagine like some type of actors. They have to like they read their scripts while they're acting. Like you see like in the Avengers, you see like Iron Man, he has like a piece of like paper and he has to read through that while he's doing his acting thing. It's so dumb. Anyway, Babur, Persian Tiger, Zahur ad-Din Muhammad was the founder of the Mughal Empire in the Indian subcontinent. He was a descendant of Timur and Genghis Khan through his father and mother respectively. Babur. Okay, so I discussed Humayun, so who's at the bottom, then Jahangir was a little bit above Humayun, then Akbar was a little older at the top, then I discussed Aurangzeb, who's like a little bit under Akbar. Now I'm discussing Babur. Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire. He's the guy, if he did not exist, the Mughal Empire would not exist. He was kind of like, so, I don't know, that would, a lot of you would think that I'm going to give him like an A++, 10 out of 10, I don't know about that. He was like responsible for the creation of the Mughal Empire and all that type of stuff. But will that make him like 10 out of 10 A++ like Akbar? Actually, for sure, I guess it would, because yeah, I'll just fuck it. Babur has like 10 out of 10 A++, because if he wasn't born, the Mughal Empire wouldn't be a thing. So Babur is like Akbar at the top of this a pyramid scheme hierarchy, and I'm only discussing the 6 most important Mughal emperors. So far Humayun is at the bottom, Jahangir is a little bit above Humayun, Akbar is all the way at the top, Aurangzeb is a little bit under Akbar, and now I'm discussing Babur, who's like on the same levels as Akbar, because without Babur, there would be no Mughal Empire. The Mughal Empire would not exist. And Babur, he had like a fucking troubling life. He was losing Samarkand. Then he turned his attention to India and employed aid from the neighboring Safavid and Ottoman empires. Defeated Ibrahim Lodi, Sultan of Delhi. He was like doing all these like political things and engaging in wars and conflicts. But the important part to remember here is that without Babur, no Mughal Empire. The Mughal Empire would not exist without Babur. So Babur, that's very important to understand. He did all these political things, blah blah blah, and he was like engaging in wars, and he won wars, and he created some time. But it's important to understand that he is responsible for the Mughal Empire. Mughal Empire. Yep. Founder. I'm pretty sure it's Babur. Yep, founder of the Mughal Empire. So I'll just have to put him at the top of this type of pyramid scheme hierarchy. Babur, near Akbar, a little bit like, yeah, also above Aurangzeb. It's kind of like, Babur is like 10 out of 10 A++, because without him, no Mughal Empire. So anyway, but he engaged a lot of wars and politics and stuff like that. In terms of like leaving behind like any type of cultural achievements, like what type of architecture did Babur leave behind? Not really a lot. I mean, he engaged in political wars. Obviously, the Mughal Empire, the legacy of the Mughal Empire is like a result of Babur's life. So I'll give him like Babur like a 10 out of 10 or like A++++, because without Babur there would be no Mughal Empire. And now on the last Mughal emperor would be Shah Jahan. This guy is so important. Shah Jahan, the Taj Mahal, and etc. and stuff. Shah Jahan, without him, like, because Shah Jahan really defined the Mughal Empire in my opinion, because in terms of like cultural achievements, the Taj Mahal, Shah Jahan is like responsible for that. Shah Jahan created like this interesting architectural marvel in the Indian subcontinent, the Taj Mahal, and he created all these important things and stuff, and he created like all this infrastructure and architecture and stuff, and it's so amazing, Shah Jahan. And he was like all right, but in terms of like cultural achievements, he really helped define the Mughal Empire, because the Taj Mahal, that type of such a like architectural marvel, without Shah Jahan there would be no Taj Mahal. And so because of that, Shah Jahan's even above like Akbar and Babur, he's like all the way at the top of this hierarchy. I'll put Shah Jahan all the way at the fucking tippity top. If this is like a pyramid scheme, Humayun's at the bottom, then Jahangir, a little bit above Humayun at the bottom, and then at the top you have Akbar and Babur, and then under them is Aurangzeb, and then all the way at the top of this pyramid scheme would be like Shah Jahan. 10 out of 10, A++++++. Even above A++, he's like what goes above A? Whatever goes above A, he's like at the beginning of the alphabet. This guy Shah Jahan, in terms of like ranking him, in terms of like the Mughal emperors, he's like in terms of like 10 out of 10, he's like 11 out of 10. This guy is all the way like at the top of this type of list and hierarchy and whatever. Shah Jahan is like the greatest Mughal emperor in my humble opinion, because he created the Taj Mahal, which really defines the Mughal Empire for sure. Think about it, without the Taj Mahal, the Mughal Empire would just be kind of like completely like weird. It wouldn't be as well defined. What really brings the Mughal Empire together is Shah Jahan. He helped to define that empire, and he created like such an interesting legacy in the subcontinent, and he carefully like defined it perfectly, and it's so amazing. Shah Jahan, like, well, he's at the beginning of the alphabet. He's like 11 out of 10. He goes above all these other Mughal emperors again. So Humayun's at the bottom, then Jahangir's a little bit above him, but still at the bottom. And then at the top you have Akbar and Babur, and then under them you have Aurangzeb. And all the way at the tippity top, at the point of like the sun pyramid scheme, you have what was his name? Shah Jahan. Again, Taj Mahal. Shah Jahan, in my opinion, out of all the six, obviously there's a ton of Mughal emperors, but out of all of them, Shah Jahan is like the greatest one. And I don't want this video to be too long, and that's about it.